2017 Toyota 86. The 2017 Toyota 86 comes intact with a mild price increase. With the exception of the soon-to-be-released limited production Scion TC Release Series 10.0 and one final display at the New York Auto Show, Scion is pretty much history. Even though the brand will be no more, some of its cars will live on. The most exciting of the bunch, the Scion FRS, will now wear a Toyota badge. The name is also changing, moving away from FRS. Rather, the car is going to live on as the Toyota 86. And we've just received the first official information and images of the new 86, along with confirmation that it will debut at the New York Auto Show along with the Toyota CHR concept. Toyota Division Group Vice President Bill Fay said, "When we announced the transition of the Scion models to Toyota, we hadn't planned on changing the names of our cars. But by popular demand, for our sports car, we decided to adopt the global name of 86. He continued, "Enthusiasts have a strong association with the front-engine, rear-drive heritage of the Hachiroku and the dynamic performance it offers. So, will the 86 be all show and no-go like the FRS, or will Toyota step its game up and make the 86 the driver's car it should be?" Well, Toyota did mention some upgrades, but you'll have to keep reading to find out more about that. The Toyota 86 will hit dealership showrooms this fall, but before then, and before its debut in New York, let's take a good look at the pre-release materials that Toyota sent our way. Exterior. While the changes to the body are up front, the hood is the same as it was on the FRS and the front fenders are still elevated above the wheel arches. This look is part of what makes the car so sporty. The headlight assemblies look familiar at a glance, but under closer examination we can see that the daytime runners and signal lights are now LEDs. Down below, the fascia has been redesigned with a much larger grille. That grille, in combination with the black trim insert to the top of it and the design underneath, makes the car look almost like it is snarling at you. It's a pretty cool look for the car and a huge improvement over its appearance as a Scion. Trim inserts have been applied on each corner of the fascia to simulate vents. These inserts sit higher than the inserts on the FRS, giving the 86 a more dominating look. The fascia has been redesigned with a much larger grille. Moving over to the sides, we don't see a lot of difference between the FRS and the 86. The vent and insert on the fenders have changed dramatically, with the insert extending all the way back to the mating crease of the front door. Down below the vent is a new circular 86 emblem that designates the car's new name. The side view mirrors are the same, as is the design and shape of the side windows, but there is something new down below. The side skirts on the 86 are now more defined and actually protrude from the body a bit as they lead toward the rear of the vehicle. The body line created by the new side skirt design continues over the rear quarter, further defining the rear wheel arches. As you can see, the 86 rides on twisted 10-spoke alloy wheels that look to be 17 or 18 inches in size. All told, the design of the 86 is quite similar to the FRS, but it does have some significant changes that make it worth looking at. To the rear, Toyota was a little relaxed when it came to making changes. In fact, the 86 looks almost identical to the FRS, save for a few minor things. First, the taillights carry the same shape but are now LED units. The rear fascia has more defining body lines, but for the most part looks about the same. Down below, that rear diffuser looks pretty familiar, but it has been revised a bit. The unit on the FRS was smooth as to where diffuser on the 86 has more aggressive styling toward the bottom. The addition of the thick body line running the width of the diffuser makes it stand out much more, which is a good thing given how familiar the rest of the rear end is. You'll find a single circular exhaust outlet on each side of the diffuser, just like on the FRS. All told, the design of the 86 is quite similar to the FRS, but it does have some significant changes that make it worth looking at. I like the more aggressive styling, but in all honesty, shouldn't the car have been more aggressive to begin with? To me, the FRS has always been a car that was well-intentioned but never received the designer power it deserved. At least with Toyota taking over, the 86 might turn out to be the car we always hoped the FRS would be. Interior. When it comes to the interior, you might think that you're looking at more of the same, but that isn't exactly the case. The interior does have the same general design, but the interior is more defined. The center vents sit a little higher and pop out more from the dash, and the trim insert around the radio and on the passenger side is sunk deeper into the dash. The instrument cluster in the 86 is the same as it was in the FRS, but the steering wheel has some new features. It is still a round 3-spoke wheel, but there is a set of audio control buttons on the left spoke and an insert on the right spoke that could be the future location of further controls. The lower spoke is now a solid spoke instead of having a split in the middle. The instrument cluster in the 86 is the same as it was in the FRS, but the steering wheel has some new features. The entire dash, as well as the door trim panels, are made from a new Grandlix material that Toyota claims is soft to the touch. Silver contrast stitching is used to hold together material on the steering wheel, the shifter boot, some of the dash trim, and the material on the seals. Sitting inside the dash is a new Pioneer touchscreen unit that looks more wholesome and fresh compared to the unit that was used in the FRS. These are all rather minor changes to the interior, but in all honesty, the interior of the FRS wasn't that bad to begin with. I would have liked to see a revised instrument cluster and center console, but I suspect that will come when Toyota ushers in a new generation for the 86. At least the cabin is still interesting and relevant enough to maintain interest in the vehicle while Toyota goes to work on the next generation.